Welcome to live piano practice number 20. We're doing a new song today called Don't Know Why by Norah Jones. Now, this part is actually the guitar parts arranged for piano. Mostly because if you listen to the song, actually, I got fooled when I listened to the song. I actually needed this for a student, had John, who writes all of our sheet music, write this out for us, tab this out for us, and come to find out that the piano part is this very decorative part over top. Not a lot of meat, not a lot of substance. So I actually had him go back and rewrite all the guitar parts for piano. So that's what we're doing today. Otherwise, you just don't have a lot to play in this song. So if you're in a duo where it's more you and a singer only, this would be great for that. If you have a guitarist, you might want to do the other part. Both are on our website, musicbythemeasurespro.com. If you want to if you want to support us making more content like this and have access to high quality sheet music, become a member at Music by the Measures Pro. All right, so we're going to dive in. Full speed on this song is 89 BPM. We're going to be starting at 40 and just kind of work our way through these notes. Via the key signature, we have two flats, a B flat and an E flat. Now, this song is kind of like jazzy, bluesy jazz. And so there's like a lot of sharps and flats that come throughout. A lot of notes that don't necessarily belong in the key signature. But, all right, we will start breaking this down. Let me just double check that both my streams are running. One of them's being a little bit annoying. Looks like it might be back. Okay. Hopefully it recovers. If not, it is what it is. All right. So in the beginning right away, we have this A to a D. And then D, F, D. Now, even working through this with my student the other day, we kind of went over like, this makes the most sense for the fingering right now. It may come to be that as we get more comfortable and speed the thing up, we might change our fingering a little bit. So sometimes that happens. All right, let's do that at 40. Just kind of break it down one measure at a time, get the idea going in our fingers. 1 and 2. Oh, I gotta learn how to count. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now, if you want to right away, you could add the bass clef in. It's playing this really low octave of B flat. So I was about to say it kind of helps me sometimes with the rhythm, especially if we're skipping that downbeat of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just kind of mess around with where you're at on playing piano. I'm gonna start adding that in a little bit, only because I did work, so I'm cheating. This is my second look. I worked on this for my student the other day. Wasn't able to do it live while I was prepping it, but making it up today. It's first look and a half. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just right hand 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and both hands. The other thing to note is all of these are saying put the pedal on, remove the pedal. I don't usually add pedal. Actually, I haven't added pedal a lot, period. But I don't like to add it until I've learned a better idea of the song. So we'll get that added sooner than usual. All right, so next measure. We have a D and a G. We have that little rest that's going from it too. So let's see how we're getting into that. So we're going A, D, D, A flat, rest. So it just feels very natural to use my thumb and my third finger. Again, a lot of like notes that aren't in the key signature. because we have that F to an E natural. So we got D, G, F sharp, B flat, F sharp, E natural. Just gonna take me a minute to process that. All right, we're just gonna do, like I said, one measure at a time, kind of breaking it down, slowly getting the whole idea together. This song is decently repetitive. Even John's arrangement of it is decently repetitive. Those guitars kind of set a basis for the entire song. 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and oops and 3 and 4, 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm playing some wrong notes here. Am I? No, I'm playing the right notes. I might have said a wrong note earlier though. So it's that D, G, F sharp, B flat, F sharp, F natural is what I meant to say. I said E natural earlier. Is what it should be. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, let's get that going. Now that we have the right notes. And 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So in our left hand, we're going to be doing this E flat, actually, so for here, up to this E flat, down to D flat, F sharp. Let's just do that a couple times. So we got E flat, D natural, just D. Probably don't have to say D natural. D. Kind of like that, a little bit of a walking, right? Leading bass line. So pretty slow at 40 BPM. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So for me, just getting that rhythm together will take me a couple passes through. 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, hurt my brain. And then to that F sharp. So it's kind of nice that both. What up, Gaming Emanation Studios? How is your? I felt like I said animation really weird. How's your morning going, my guy? I'm just getting some coffee in and running through this song, so I'm waking up a little bit. Cool, bro. What are you up to today that you're the only one watching my stream? You are one of one today. I don't know if that's a sense of pride that you have or like embarrassment for me. Either one's fine. You're like, I am the only one. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of like a personal piano lesson then if you think about it, if you're the only one watching. All right, so both hands together. We got this E flat, 1, 2, and 3, B flat, F sharps together. So that, just thinking of the F sharps together is kind of nice for me. Do you play piano, my guy? And honestly, I say my guy about 1,000 times too many throughout the day. It becomes one of those catchphrases that you think is funny at first, and then you just accidentally keep using it. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3. Oh. That's a lot of hearts. Thank you. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, let's run through that with right hand a couple times, and then hopefully I can hear where that left hand's gonna go. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So left hand with that is too much for my brain. Let's do it by ourselves. 1 and 2 and that's hard for me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and there we go. And again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right. 1 and 2 and 3. All right, we're gonna try it. And 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and shoot. I did good except for that and. 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So I can do it one time. And that one time was pretty bad, but 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and I need to start with the E flat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right. It's getting there. I want to try both of these together. I guess we'll try that, yeah. It's not going to be pretty. Just making the transitions, but it helps me know that I've did the correct fingering, like getting into and out of a section. So maybe we'll do this without metronome and then go to the next measure. 1 and see, I already forgot how this is played. 1, oh yeah, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and with the left hand we're just playing that B flat. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now when I get more comfortable with this piece, one thing that I'm noticing is, and I do this a lot when I'm learning, actually I just do this a lot, period. I leave before I'm ready, before I have to leave. So if I'm thinking 1 and 2 and I like to lift up almost on the end, I should be lifting up right before, like a little breath before 3. It should be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Just that little hesitation before the chord, or before the next note. When I put both hands together, mentally it's just too much for me to think about. That little extra pause in there that I'm going to have to really work on removing out of my playing. Just a bad habit. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so if I exaggerate it, I can kind of fix it a little bit. And then we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I think I'm definitely playing some wrong notes there. All right, let's do that again. This is a little bit my process. Play each hand, metronome, metronome, metronome. All right, then put both chord measures together. Do it a couple times without metronome. Do it with metronome and know that you're not going to be good. It's more just going to kind of like push you around into time. And then from being pushed around in time, you'll be like, oh, okay, now do it without metronome a couple times. It's just as back and forth. It takes a little bit. It'll get faster as we get going. Up to that E flat. Brain froze. 1 and 2 and oh, it's down to that D. 3 and again, use little hints like I know I don't have to think about those F sharps because they both come in together. That makes it easier for my rhythm sensibilities. I can kind of lean on like, all right, right hand's going to the F sharp, left hand's going to follow him. All right, let's do a couple more of those. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 up to the E flat. Now, the other thing that I like is I get a little bit of time between the hands to think about what's going on, between the measures, I should say. Like I get time to prepare a little bit. For my brain, that's very helpful. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to try to get done. Small steps. When I'm teaching, and if I can get a student to learn this way, what they need to get in their brain is like, you only have to do this kind of painstaking thing on 10 songs. For me, this is song number 3 that I've kind of like really tried to dive into in a high detail. It will not be this painful all the time. You just need to get through those 10 or so songs that are your first that you learn. And these songs that I'm learning right now are probably not the first 10 that you should learn. Like, that would be a good series down the road. These just happen to be what my student prefers to learn right now. And I'm happy to learn what she's working on. It helps me as a teacher kind of be more prepared and ready to go for our lessons. All right, this is going to be ugly. And 3 and 4 will come in the next time. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, there were mistakes there. 1 and 2 and we're gonna wait one whole time and we'll come back in. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Just counting it wrong. So let's play it without. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and that's what's been throwing me off. I'm just not counting. All right. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's do it again. 1 and 2. Again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all right, one more time with metronome and then we're gonna move on to the next measures. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 2 3 4 So I did it. It actually wasn't terrible. It was in time. Let's do it again. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and yeah, I just need to count it right. 2. Let's do one more before we move on. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's do one more. Not 3 more, but just 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So that one didn't work out for me. Let's play it without metronome. I want to like kind of have it solidified in my head before we move on. 1 and 2 and 3 and that's what's getting me, just getting that movement in my right hand. Let's take it from the E flat again. We got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. So we're ending with our third finger on that F natural, and then we're gonna go back down to a B flat. So I'm looking at that G minor 7 measure. So you got F, B flat, F, E nat. Oh yeah, so that's what I want to do. Use that transition to kind of get my third finger open for that E flat. So just something I'm gonna have to think about. Actually, ooh, I've not made notes in Sibelius for forever, but yeah, that should work. Hopefully, on this. So it's probably not how we'd actually write it, and quite often, well, actually, I don't think we ever put finger numbers in, but doesn't hurt to help. I would highly recommend, like even if I'm teaching drums and it's a sticking pattern, like I'll say, hey, this is the best way to stick it. As you get comfortable, you might want to play it a different way. It doesn't really matter. It matters if it's smooth. If I'm using my first finger for everything, it's probably not the best way to do it, right? So I kind of like fourth finger there. Let's see if I actually like it. Oh, and the big reason it needs to be fourth finger. Let's see, did I even write that right? So we got this F natural. Oh, because it's third finger here. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna want to go third finger with there. Let's just make sure. Yeah. But just to give myself enough of a brain, or enough of a help with my brain. So third finger there. We're also going to kind of just give ourselves a hint that third finger, there's no reason that you can't write on your sheet music. All right, and third finger there. That sets me up for success. And make sure that I'm doing it the same for the next little bit. So you got the third finger, B flat, F, E natural, B flat, E natural, and then it goes to this chord. Monkey, how's your day going? I'm doing some piano. You probably noticed that, though. I want to say there's one thing that I did differently in my rehearsal yesterday, my little practice session. Let's take it from the... Okay, that makes sense. It might have been that last E flat, so I can get... I know I want to play that E flat, B flat chord like this. It's just very comfortable, easy to do. And it sets me up for that F. There's no other way that I can be set up for that F. So let me just figure out a minute what I want. So I got this... it's in some songs it doesn't matter. Like every measure's like a defined part that doesn't kind of bleed into the other one. This one very much bleeds into the next section. You can even see with all the ties, right? So like the chord movement or the finger movement's a little bit more, not more important, because it's always important, but I don't know. For me, it's a little bit more of a weakness in this song than other songs. Then we have our... So like all of that, I don't know. Oh, that's what has to happen. So it's E natural, B flat. So I need to figure out what finger is going to really set me up for that B flat sus4 / F chord. It's a long name. So again, and this is just, figuring out a song for the first time. Now here's where I like our sheet music better than anyone else. When I used to own a music studio and quite often would teach a song and I just download something off the internet. A lot of lazy teachers do that. A lot of teachers do that, period. Half the time it was wrong. I'd hand it to a student and then a week later I'd be like, oh man, they didn't do this chord movement right. They didn't do this right. We worked on all these parts for this song and now we have to start over because I figured out the right way to play it. And then we hired John and we started Music by the Measure shortly thereafter. Well, a couple years after. Quite a few years after. We started doing videos on YouTube, but we never really kind of sold sheet music for a while. But he wrote high quality sheet music that was thought out. Like, hey, here's what this part's actually doing. Here's a quick way to play it. Here's a good position to do it. And it just, I don't know. I teach at a studio and I quite often go in and see what other people are teaching out of music wise. And I go, this is not helping a student. Like, this is wrong. It's blatantly wrong sometimes too. All right, that's my little Friday morning rant. All right, let me play this a couple more times. Just figure out what fingering I really want. think my whole ramble was I can now focus on something like fingering versus like, hey, how to play this correctly, or is this the right sheet music? I'd spend quite a bit of time listening to a song going, oh, no, they got it wrong here. They should have done this thing here. So I do want to go with my fourth finger there. It sets me up better for that chord. And in the time that I have, we're not going to get too much more done today than just really kind of pacing this through. Usually when I try to get a practice in, I like to aim for like an hour. Realistically, I get 45 minutes more often than not. Aim for an hour. If I get 45 minutes, I'm pretty happy. We're approaching 25 minutes right now, and I got another good 10 to 15 minutes in me. But I can kind of see that we might get a basis of this section down, but we're not going to get both hands together yet. And then, tomorrow will be next day, and then we'll work on it more. All right, let's take it from the E flat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and gotta remember to move that E flat. I think we can do it from this B flat, the G minor 7's B flat. So we got and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's what I want. That's how I want to play. Now the other thing that's weird about this, weird is not the right way to say that, but we're starting on this offbeat. I probably want to practice it with that offbeat in there, so I probably want to highlight this measure to that measure, but only play this measure. And sometimes your loops just work out that way. Now I have a huge advantage of running. These are Sibelius files, is what we use to write all of our sheet music in. It's a pretty good program. It has some weird stuff to it, but for the most part, it's pretty nice. It's nice for me to practice with. At home, you're most likely, I'll do practice loops for these down the road, like where I'm playing through a section. Kind of making that a thing that I think is helpful to you guys. But the other thing is to set up a metronome. But always kind of think about how your phrase begins. This phrase really begins on this F, right? So you want to make sure you're practicing that F into the next measure. All right. But before we even get there, we're going to focus on one hand at a time. Let's do some counting and just make sure we can play it, because that might be questionable at this point. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I don't know why that's so hard for me to count. And 4 and 1. Oops. I gotta watch that E flat. So again, yeah. So for some reason, and 4 and maybe I could do that. I don't know. My brain just sees this little bit of a space, and there we go. That might change nothing, but 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Might as well just start talking about the next measure too. So they're dropping that F, and they're playing a B flat and then a B flat D. And then really the whole idea just starts over. So it's these four measures that kind of give you the basis of the song, which is kind of nice. I feel like that idea repeats quite a bit as well. All right. Let's see what we can do with metronome. Might stumble through a little bit, but that'll help us. Gonna really focus on just coming in on this F and playing this measure, not worrying about anything in that measure. Play the first chord, hopefully. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so that was a total disaster. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We're gonna play by ourselves again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and so just even all that offbeat counting, to spend a day working on that with metronome will make you a better musician. I often do these sessions, struggle come back the next day, and you know, I got like 10 extra bonus points, and I'm a better player just from struggling with metronome. One and two and three and four and one and two and something sounded wrong. One and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and I do wonder. Let's play it one more time. One and two and three and four and one. Nah, I do like the fourth finger there. All right. We're going to try that again with metronome. See how we do. I do think it's easier for me to come in on two here. Might beg to differ. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 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 2. That's F natural. Just so you guys know, that's F natural. Did I play F natural? No, I definitely did not. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and so let's figure out. So after 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 12 times, it got better. Let's try to do this. So we got and 1 and 1. We're just adding that F natural into there. Then B flat. And again, that next B flat carries over. It's basically a dotted quarter note. I mean, it's a quarter note tied to an eighth note. All right, so we got 4 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Good luck. Good luck to me. Yeah, I guess we just try to play those 4. I guess we just do a 4-bar loop. We're going to ignore that first measure, but use it as kind of like a recalibration. And then, honestly, we're a step away from just doing that measure, too. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4. So clearly cannot count this measure. I'm going to struggle. I kind of have to do the measure before it to get into it. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's count that about 25 more times and we'll probably have it. All right, I got about like 5 or 6 minutes left, so see what I get done. So 1 and 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's a little tricky. It's tricky out of context. I think in context, clearly I couldn't play it either, but and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. That was terrible. That's okay. And 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and better. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 passable. So in like the 5 or 6 minutes I have left, let's try to do all 4 of these measures. Now I'm going to give myself this measure. We'll add a 5th measure in, but really our loop is these 4. We'll just use that 5th measure to turn around every time. And it helps me get this B flat in there for the right amount of time. Let's do this as a run through first. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again. The best thing you could do is print this out, even if you have to write in the count. But if you just sit there and count that out day after day, in 7 days, you're going to be a beast at playing on off beats. Your brain's going to understand at a higher level. Counting and playing is one of the best things you can do, just to get the idea like very cemented into your head. Quite often, students will hear it, they'll play it over and over again, but they don't understand that correlation of counting out loud. Even if you count in your head, it's not as good. There's something about this rhythmicness of moving my mouth, having to have my brain move my mouth at the same time and produce sound while playing that just changes your perception of music, of timing, of counting, of all those good things. All right, we'll see if we can do a couple run-throughs before we're out of time. Only right hand. We're not even going to try left hand at this point. 1. Just killing a little time right now. Still have a little bit of time to kill. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 so that was really good, except for I played E flat versus a D. 1 and then I screwed up again. See if I can jump in on this E flat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and weird timing on that last measure, but 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 so it's just that last measure is really hard for me to count. I'll just have to do it like 10 more times. And then, like, also, I think of our brains as like RAM. Like, I can only process, well, as having RAM, I can only process so much information. So by the time my brain is done processing this, there's a little bit of a lag. Like, my brain goes, I know you'd really like me to count this, but it's going to take me a little bit of effort. The only way to get through that lag is to practice and practice and practice. Count. Say the names of the notes, break that measure down separately, which, you know, if I had 5 more minutes or cared today, I would do that. Today's probably not the day. All right, let's run through it by ourselves, and then we're going to try a couple more with metronome, and then call it a day. Now, this is why I play with metronome. That was smooth. I mean, like, if you go back to where I first started playing it and I couldn't even piece the idea together. Now, without metronome, I'm getting that idea. I'm getting that flow down. And there's a little bit of a hesitation on some notes. But that hesitation can get removed by metronome, 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 metronome by yourself. Metronome, 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 metronome. Play it in time. All right, let's do it again. I play the wrong notes then. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. this part, you can already hear I'm not going and one, which the song does. My brain doesn't hear it that way yet. I have to coach my brain on that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and thinking about that F natural stuff for me as well. I just miss it a lot. I don't think about it. I mean, that's da dun da is the rhythm, right? And 4 or and 1 and 1 and 1 and then and. All right. Man, let's try it one more time with metronome. This is kind of where it gets fun too. Like 40 now is my score to beat. I felt like I played it once okay. Obviously didn't play with left hand yet. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, I think we're done for today. I'm pretty pleased with that. For me, this is pretty challenging. Not only some of the notes, just knowing them, playing a different key signature, but then also just that rhythm, that offbeat rhythm is challenging for me. So hey, guys, thanks for checking us out. If you want to help support us making more of this content,